Chapter 31 Inner City, North City. You are listening at Audio. After Qin Jiang cleaned up, he went to the lobby of Shanmenlu. The boy came over and said, "Master Qin, Master Lu is waiting for you on the second floor." Qin Jiang nodded and went straight to the second floor. Before he reached the second floor, Louisa walked quickly. Today he was dressed in rich clothes, with his hair tied into a bun, a jade crown, and a folding fan in his hand. He looked like a handsome young man. "Ha! Come quickly, dear brother." When he came closer, he pulled Qin Jiang into a private room without any explanation. He mysteriously picked up a baggage from the seat and opened it on the table. He took out the objects inside and unfolded them. "Look, dear brother. How about this black gold auspicious cloud robe for me?" Qin Jiang looked over and saw a brocade robe with black background and gold cloud patterns embroidered on it. He nodded. "Not bad, at least it's worth 2 taels of silver." "Ha! This was made by the chief of Jinshu Pavilion in the west of the city. You can't even buy it for 10 taels of silver." Louisa laughed. Qin Jiang looked sideways slightly. One piece of clothing was worth 10 taels of silver. If it were replaced by his predecessor, he would have to go to Tahitian dozens of times. Come on, put it on quickly and show me to my brother. I know you are still wearing the black cloth today, which is not good. Today we are going to the county captain's mansion." With that said, Louisa directly handed the robe to Qin Jiang, and then took out boots and hairpins from the bag. "By the way, dear brother, you haven't reached the crown yet, have you? Then just put a hairpin in your hair." Qin Jiang looked at the clothes in his hand for a moment, then realized, "No, this is too expensive." Louisa waved his hand. "Put it on quickly. You probably don't know that your sister-in-law is the chief of Jinshu Pavilion. This black gold auspicious cloud robe costs 10 taels for others, but I don't need to pay for it at all. Speaking of which, the store's funds have been tight recently. This time I went to the banquet and took several hundred taels of silver from your sister-in-law." Qin Jiang looked at Louisa inexplicably when he heard this. Louisa also looked at him and straightened his body slightly. It's borrowed. How can I, a man of 8 feet, do such unreasonable things? Change it quickly. Don't refuse any more." After a while, Qin Jiang put on the black gold auspicious cloud robe, and tied his hair in a bun awkwardly. Louisa, who was standing by him, couldn't stand it anymore, so he walked over and finished it in 2s and 2s, took the hairpin and inserted it. That's right. I noticed that my good brother has an extraordinary temperament earlier, but now I see that it's true." Louisa smiled with satisfaction. Qin Jiang looked at the bronze mirror aside. The brocade robe fit him perfectly, with a jade hairpin on his head and long hair shawl. It's just that the tall figure holds up the brocade robe, and he doesn't look like a handsome young man, but rather looks a bit majestic. He looked at Louisa with some surprise. "Brother Lou, how did you know my size?" Louisa was stunned for a moment, and then he couldn't laugh or cry. Did Brother Xian forget what he does? If he didn't even have this ability, I'm afraid this blacksmith shop would have closed long ago. My eyes are rulers. Okay, let's go," he said. Qin Jiang nodded slightly. "Brother Lu, please." Inner City, North Gate. Qin Jiang looked up and saw that the towering city wall was at least 7 or 8 meters long. The wall was covered with various scars, many of which did not look like weapons but instead looked like claw marks. It can be said that this is the real Black Mountain City. The boundaries of the outer city were actually added after the development of Black Mountain City. Looking at the entrance of the city gate, a group of county soldiers wearing black armor were guarding the city gate, each holding a long sword and wearing a short sword on his waist, with a murderous look on his face. There were not many people going in and out of the inner city at this time, and most of them came in and out by carriage. Qin Jiang and Louisa walked over, but were stopped by county soldiers. "Tongpai." Louisa quickly took out the invitation from his arms and said, "Master Jun, we are invited to the banquet by the county captain. This is the invitation." The county soldier took the invitation and looked at it. "It turns out he is our guest. Come in." The two walked into the city gate and walked through the passage for almost 20 meters before entering the inner city. Entering the inner city, the surroundings suddenly became noisy. On both sides of the street, various vendors were hawking and promoting their goods, as if they were not worried about anyone robbing them. The steamed bun shop on the roadside was steaming, and the old man who was sharpening scissors was sitting on the roadside, surrounded by a circle of people. A straight avenue leads straight ahead, wide enough for 2 carriages to run parallel. Louisa looked at Qin Jiang with a smile. That's why we moved to the inner city. Although there are gangs that charge protection fees, the environment is much more stable than in the outer city, so you can naturally make more money. Of course, the place we are staying in now is Beishar, and not all other areas in the inner city are so prosperous. Qin Jiang nodded slightly. Although this was his first time in the inner city, he had often heard people talk about the inner city. It is divided into 2 cities, 16 lanes. In addition to the North City, there is also a South City, but the food and various daily necessities are mainly sold there. Walking in Bay City, the prosperity visible to the naked eye is in sharp contrast to the outer city. It's no wonder that the gentlemen in the inner city don't care about the life and death of the outer city and the refugees. I'm afraid the tax paid by the northern city alone is more than the 4 districts in the outer city combined. Moreover, he also heard that there were many brothels in Pinkangfang in the inner city, and it was famous as a gold-selling cave. Almost everyone in the inner city who had some money had been there. There are various entertainment places, coupled with the current environment. Of course you can enjoy it day by day. If the Hui kingdom comes over, I'm afraid there will be no good days. Poof. While Qin Jiang was thinking, a little girl bumped into his leg with a candied hawse. Ah! I bumped into it, sorry. A crisp voice sounded, and Qin Jiang lowered his head, casting a tall shadow, completely covering the little girl in the shadow. Smiling, he stretched out his hand and gently touched the little girl's head. It's okay, just be careful when playing. Phew! A gust of fragrant wind blew. Little sister. Don't run around. Qin Jiang raised his head and looked, and a beautiful figure came into his eyes, wearing a green skirt, dancing as he ran. A hint of surprise rose from her eyes. When it came to appearance, this woman was not inferior to Lin Xianer and Lin Yuer. This made him couldn't help but sigh that this black mountain city had such outstanding people and such a fairy-like woman. Louisa on the side slightly cupped his hands and said, Miss Su. The woman stopped in front of the 2 of them and bowed slightly towards Qin Jiang. Sorry, sir, my sister is a bit naughty. Then she pulled the little girl and looked at Louisa. Who are you? I am Louisa from Lu's blacksmith shop in the north of the city. Some time ago, your father commissioned me to build a batch of farm tools. Louisa smiled and spoke. He didn't expect to meet this person here. The woman in the skirt thought for a moment and opened her lips slightly. Oh, I remember, you are the owner of Lu's blacksmith shop. My father told me that Lu's casting skills are the best in Montenegro City. The farm tools you made can be used the most advantageous. Hearing this, Louisa quickly raised his hands and said, the Su family master is overly praised, and Shaoxing is really ashamed to deserve it. The woman in the skirt was about to talk, but her skirt was pulled by the little girl beside her. Sister, let's go over there, there is a candy man over there. The little girl pointed into the distance with an excited look on her face. She had not been to Bay City for a long time. The woman in the skirt looked at the 2 of them apologetically. I'm sorry, my sister hasn't been out for a long time. As soon as she finished speaking, the little girl left her behind and ran away. Seeing this, the woman in the skirt quickly apologized and chased after him. After she left, Louisa looked at Qin Jiang and found that Qin Jiang was still watching her leaving. What's wrong with my dear brother? Could it be that he has a crush on me? He joked. Qin Jiang shook his head slightly. He felt a strange feeling in this woman. It's hard to say, but it's a bit like the feeling I had when I saw the statue of the goddess Huang Tian and the statue of the fox fairy. Brother Lu, who is she? He asked. Chapter 32 Xu Yanran, attending the banquet. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Louisa looked like he had expected this. She is Xu Yanran, the eldest daughter of the Xu family. The Xu family controls most of the land in the west of the city and is the 2nd largest family in our Black Mountain city after the 4 major families. However, since they are from outside, they have been excluded by local families and have not been able to be ranked alongside the four major families. Qin Jiang became interested after hearing this. Four major families? Which four families are they? I have never heard of them before. Louisa nodded. This is normal. Except for the Li family in the south of the city, the other four major families are all in the inner city and are very low-key on weekdays. The other three families are the Song family where the county magistrate is, and the Zhao and Lin families. In fact, the Lin family is also from outside, but with a strong background, no one dares to provoke them. I see. Qin Jiang nodded. Okay, let's go around the North City first, and buy some gifts by the way. We can't go there empty-handed. I heard that the county lieutenant likes tea, so I'll pick some later. Louisa said. Tea? I don't know much about tea ceremony. Nothing, don't worry, I'll make arrangements for you. Walking around Taipei, Qin Jiang looked around but didn't find any antique shops or pawn shops, which disappointed him. Not long after, the two came to a tea shop, which was the most famous tea shop in Taipei, Kinkaju. Entering the tea shop, there were cabinets on both sides of the wall, with various tea trays and cakes placed on them, and most of the people walking inside were wearing brocade clothes. However, Qin Jiang was tall, especially with his broad arms and handsome appearance, and he attracted many people's attention the moment he walked in. My dear brother, please sit here for a while. I will go to the second floor. As he said that, Louisa waved his hand, and a servant came to greet him immediately. Master Lu, you are here? The shopkeeper is on the second floor. Louisa nodded. This is my brother, brewing a pot of bilyuakun. The servant bowed slightly. Okay, sir, please come this way. After Qin Jiang sat down, Louisa nodded slightly and walked to the second floor. After a while, the servant came over with a tea tray and poured tea for Qin Jiang. Please enjoy it. If you need anything, just call me, Xiaowu. After the servant left, Qin Jiang picked up the teacup and took a sip. It was not tasty. Tap tap tap. After sitting for a while, footsteps came from behind. Qin Jiang turned his head and saw that it was the woman in luo skirt, Xu Yanran. Seeing Qin Jiang, she was also a little surprised, and then smiled slightly. Sir, come here for tea. Qin Jiang nodded slightly, waiting for Brother Lu. Xu Yanran suddenly realized, oh, I haven't asked for your name yet. Qin Jiang. Qin Jiang. It turns out to be Mr. Qin. Yanran has something important to do, so I have to excuse myself first. Xu Yanran said with a smile. Miss Su, please feel free to do as you please. Qin Jiang said. Not long after Xu Yanran left, Louisa came down from upstairs and handed a pack of tea boxes to Qin Jiang. Let's go, we have to go quickly, the banquet will start soon. Leaving Kinkaju, the two walked to the outside of the North City. Qin Jiang looked around and finally found an antique shop near the end of the North City. After leaving the North City, the two rushed to the center of the inner city. The county lieutenant's residence was located in Ansheng, not far from the Black Mountain government office, and very close to the city center. On the way, Qin Jiang passed by the government office. He looked over and saw a big drum standing outside the government office. Two government officials in black and blue uniforms held killing sticks and yawned at the door. Qin Jiang shook his head slightly. Compared with the county soldiers, these government officials were much worse. After passing the government office and moving forward for a while, a mansion came into view. The gate was painted shiny with black paint, and even the walls were black and gray, giving people a sense of simplicity and solemnity. Two black armored county soldiers stood on both sides of the gate with solemn expressions. Compared with the previous government office, this place looked more like a government office. The gate was open, and many people came in and out, which looked very lively. When they came closer, Qin Jiang and Louisa presented gifts one after another, and walked into the mansion after the recorder recorded it. After passing through the gate, there was a special person leading the way, and then came to the backyard, which was a very large and open yard, nearly 1,000 square meters. In the middle is a stone road, more than 10 meters wide, with low dining tables placed on both sides of the road, and blankets in front of the tables for people to sit on. At this time, there are about 200 or 300 people in the yard, but it still does not seem crowded, and it is even a little empty. It can be said that this piece of land alone is worth at least 1,000 taels of silver. TSK, you are worthy of being the county lieutenant. I really don't know how much this mansion can be sold for. Louisa said with emotion. Once upon a time, even when their Liu family was at its most glorious, it was far worse than this. Hey! Look, it's the blood-flame golden spear. He pointed to the center of the yard and said excitedly. Qin Jiang looked over, his eyes passed through the crowd and saw the bright red in the center of the yard. I saw the blood-flame golden spear placed on an iron frame, and 2 black-armored county soldiers stood on both sides to guard it. Okay, let's find a place to sit down first. We're still a little late, and there's no room near the center. Louisa shook his head in annoyance. If he had known, he would have come earlier. While the two were looking for a place, a woman who was talking to someone near the center of the blood-flame golden spear noticed the two of them. With a bit of surprise in her eyes, she stood up immediately. Brother, look quickly. The one with a greasy face is Li Songjing, the head of the Li family in the south of the city. The one next to him is Zhao Yunsheng, the head of the Zhao family. Louisa said, pointing to the center of the yard. Qin Jiang looked over and saw the familiar fat man. Even at this moment, he still didn't show any signs of martial arts, but the fact that he broke his arms and ribs a few days ago left a deep impression on him. When he learns the red tiger fist, he will ask for advice. He looked at another middle-aged man, who was wearing a blue brocade suit, with a strong body and a high crown on his head. He was obviously a warrior. Why don't we see the other 2 families? He asked. The other 2 families? I don't know why the county magistrate didn't come today. As for the Lin family, they basically don't attend such banquets. Louisa said, it's strange to say that the county magistrate usually likes to attend such banquets, but today he didn't come for some reason. Ding ding ding. While the two were talking, a gong sounded outside the mansion, followed by a sound of horse hooves. Woe! After a rein in the horse, the sound of iron armor falling to the ground was heard. Take off the armor, that the powerful voice can still be heard clearly even across the courtyard wall. After a while, a sound of footsteps came from outside the courtyard, and a figure like an iron tower walked into the backyard, walking like a dragon and a tiger, with the majesty of a superior. The person who came was Long Yuesheng. After he walked into the yard, the voices in the yard were quiet. He looked around, first passing by the heads of each family, then looking around. When he saw Qin Jiang, he paused slightly, seemed a little surprised, and then nodded. Louisa hurriedly stood up and bowed, and seeing that Qin Jiang did not move, he pulled him up. Long Yuesheng smiled, and then clasped his fists slightly. Everyone, please do as you please. The 4 heads of the Zhao, Li, Lu, and Lu families, please come in and have a chat. As he said, he walked through the backyard, gently stroked the gun body when passing by the blood-flame golden spear, and walked straight into the inner room. In the courtyard, the head of the Zhao family and Li Songjing followed, and 2 others also stood up from their seats. After they left, the rest of the people secretly looked at Qin Jiang and Louisa. Some people recognized Louisa, but no one recognized Qin Jiang. Just looking at this dress and this rather majestic temperament, it seems that he is of extraordinary status. The 2 sat down. Qin Jiang picked up a fruit on the table and took a bite, and asked, why did the Long County magistrate hold a banquet? Looking at this scene, it is not an ordinary banquet, and it is definitely not just to see the blood-flame golden spear. Louisa also picked up the wine glass and took a sip. He also felt that this banquet was unusual. With his blood-flame golden spear, how could he have such a face? After thinking for a moment, he said, in my opinion, it is mostly to deal with the increasing number of strange dangers in the city. Strange dangers? Isn't it in the Big Black Mountain? There are also in the city. Qin Jiang asked. Louisa nodded, and was about to say something when a female voice sounded in the ears of the two. Mr. Qin, Mr. Lu, what a fate. I didn't expect to see you here again. Xu Yanran came over with a smile on her face. Chapter 33. Please give me some face. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hearing the sound, Louisa turned around to look and saw that it was Xu Yanran, and quickly stood up to greet her. After Xu Yanran sat on the blanket, some people from other places who had planned to come over to make themselves familiar stopped. Although the Xu family had always been excluded, that was compared to the four major families, for ordinary rich people like them, the Xu family is still unattainable. Especially recently, the head of the Xu family has gradually retired, and most of the Xu family's business has been slowly handed over to Xu Yanran. Young Master Qin and young Master Lu, do you have any history with the county captain? Xu Yanran asked with a smile. Lieutenant Longxian was famous for his resolute and domineering behavior, especially towards the local gentry of the Black Mountain City family. Few people were willing to work with him, but due to its power, he had to submit. If she can use this banquet to build a good relationship with him, what if the local family is xenophobic? The Xu family's vision is not limited to a small Black Mountain city. In the future, she must go back and compete with those people again. To be honest, the bloody golden gun in this courtyard was forged by a certain family. Brother Qin Jiang, I am even more favored by the county captain. He said that he can report to the county captain when he enters the inner city. Name. Louisa stroked his chin gently with a somewhat arrogant smile. Just after he finished speaking, he suddenly felt that there was something wrong with the words he just said, but he couldn't notice it for a while. Xu Yanran was slightly surprised when she heard this. It turns out that this blood-flamed golden spear was forged by young Master Lu. His forging skills are worthy of being the best in Black Mountain City. No prizes, it's just some family skills. Louisa said with a smile. Xu Yanran turned to look at Qin Jiang again. Master Qin can win the favor of the county captain. If you have leisure, you can come to the west of the city often. But I don't know what is so special about Mr. Qin that he can win the favor of the county captain. The three of them talked for a while, and Xu Yanran basically understood that Qin Jiang was just a commoner. She couldn't help but become a little curious about him, and invited him to enjoy the lanterns on the 15th day of next month. Before Qin Jiang could refuse, Louisa agreed on his behalf. After Xu Yanran left, Louisa couldn't help but marveled and looked Qin Jiang up and down. He suddenly understood that he had never mentioned Qin Jiang's name in front of Xu Yanran, but when the other party came, he called him Mr. Qin. It must have been investigated secretly. He is indeed the largest grain merchant in Black Mountain City, and his eyes and ears may have spread all over Black Mountain City. It only took a few hours to complete the investigation. You actually pretended not to know how to talk before. She is really a merchant's daughter, and she is very thoughtful. Miss Xu is so secretive. He said with emotion. Qin Jiang looked at him inexplicably when he heard this. What are you talking about? Dang! The gong sounded, and Long Yuesheng and the heads of the four families came out. Long Yuesheng was smiling, but the faces of the four family heads were not so pretty. He walked to the blood-flamed golden spear in the center of the yard, directly picked up the golden gun and inserted it into the ground. He said loudly, "This magical weapon is called the blood-flamed golden spear. It has the power to destroy evil. It was specially commissioned by the county lieutenant to deal with the strange Lu. Made by his family. I think you all know that something strange has been happening in the city recently." Although the county lieutenant tried his best, it was impossible to eliminate the increasing strangeness with this gun alone. Therefore, the county captain would like to ask you to give me some face. Please support this county captain. The sound vibrated and everyone could hear it clearly. Louisa suddenly realized what he said, and whispered, "No wonder the Song family didn't come. Mr. Long is planning to blackmail you for some military expenses." Tap tap tap. There was a sound of soft footsteps, and an old man who looked like a housekeeper walked in from outside the courtyard, followed by two servants, carrying a huge box hanging on a wooden stick. "I have met Mr. County Captain. I am the housekeeper of the Lin Mansion. The head of the family asked me to come here to express that our Lin family is willing to fully support Mr. County Captain. We will donate 10,000 taels of silver to help Mr. County Captain quell the weirdness." As soon as the words fell, everyone in the courtyard was in an uproar. Unexpectedly, the Lin family, the most low-key among the four major families, would be so high-profile this time. Qin Jiang couldn't help but look sideways. 10,000 taels of silver was not a small amount. If converted, it was equivalent to 30 million in the previous life. Ha! Thank you, Master Lin, on behalf of this county captain. Long Yuesheng laughed. In fact, this was what he had negotiated with the head of the Lin family, and 5,000 taels of it were his own. He looked at Zhao Yunsheng, and then glanced at the three heads of the Li family, the Lu family, and the Lu family. Zhao Yunsheng's eyes flashed with a hint of displeasure, then he slightly cupped his hands and said with a smile, "My Zhao family is willing to contribute 4,000 taels. To help you succeed." Li Songjing also clasped his fists when he saw this. "My Li family is also willing to pay 4,000 taels. My Lu family cannot compare with the four major families, but I am willing to pay 3,000 taels. My Lu family is willing to pay 3,000 taels." After the four families paid out the money, Long Yuesheng curled his lips in disdain. "I'm a fight between life and death. If something unexpected happens, weird things happen frequently. In the end, aren't you yourselves the unlucky ones? Still need to clean up. We have to find a chance for them to bleed properly. A family worth less than 8,000 taels." Looking into the yard, he scanned everyone. Today he invited some wealthy landlords, including some gentry from the countryside. Seeing this, everyone was hesitating. It wasn't that they were hesitating whether to give, but that they had to give. It was just a matter of how much they gave. If the county captain is not happy if he is given less, and if he is given too much, isn't he trying to force others to give more? Everyone who can come here is a good person, and no one wants to offend anyone. Just when everyone was hesitating, a person suddenly stood up near the center, his skirt swaying, and he was actually a bit sassy. "Lord County Captain, the Lin family is willing to help, and so is our Su family. We are willing to contribute 8,000 taels of silver. We also have 1,000 caddies of pig iron and 5 carts of medicinal materials." As soon as the words fell, everyone present was shocked. They almost all recognized this daughter of the Su family, and she was the future heir identified by the old man of the Su family, but I never thought that this woman could be so courageous. Long Yuesheng was also surprised when he heard this, and then laughed, "Ha ha ha. Okay. You are Xu Yanran, right? I have heard your name a long time ago. This county captain will remember you. If you have any trouble, come to me." Ha ha ha. Xu Yanran was relieved when she heard this, and the corners of her mouth raised slightly. After a breath, Long Yuesheng suppressed his smile and looked at everyone in the courtyard with scrutiny. When everyone saw this, they no longer waited for anything, and expressed their willingness to donate silver. However, most of them are 300 to 500 taels, and those with 1,000 taels are a minority. After a while, almost everyone had already expressed their opinions. Long Yuesheng waved his hand and said, "This county captain is a rough man. Please eat and drink well." In the corner, Louisa smiled with admiration, approached Qin Jiang and said in a low voice, "Master Long's skills are really powerful. He just moved his mouth and got 50,000 taels of silver. This is 50,000 taels. Enough to buy a dozen blacksmith shops. I have to say, these landlords are really rich." Qin Jiang couldn't help but sigh. It was really the end of the dynasty. Money was not in the hands of the people, so of course there would be chaos. Right now, there is an external threat like the Sephora state. Otherwise, uprisings would have continued in various places. Maybe it already exists now, but it has just been suppressed. After the banquet started, Qin Jiang remembered the weird things Louisa had just said, and immediately asked, "Brother Lu, are there many weird things that I just mentioned in the city?" Hearing this, Louisa glanced at Qin Jiang and touched his forehead. "It's not that much. I actually heard from the craftsmen at home. They often get together to drink, so this kind of information is relatively well informed." "That's it." Qin Jiang nodded slightly. It seems that the danger of strangeness is indeed becoming more and more serious. In the past, even the appearance of a spirit in Tahitian was a rare thing, but now, strange things like this have been spread in the market. It's no wonder that Lieutenant Long County is so eager for money. Perhaps the power he has at this time is somewhat beyond his capabilities. Come, it's rare to have such good wine. Let's drink this cup with my brother." Chapter 34 Ancient You state, bronze mask with nightmare beast pattern. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The moon was high in the sky, and Qin Jiang and Louisa walked out of the inner city. Looking back, the towering city walls cast shadows, which looked solemn and heavy, until the end of the banquet, except for Xu Yanran's reminder not to forget the Lantern Festival on the 15th of next month. No one came to see him and Louisa. I think it was because after the donation of silver, everyone and the two of them were a little unhappy. After seeing Louisa off, Qin Jiang returned to Shanmenlu, asked for a pot of hangover tea, and went straight into the house, drinking tea. He looked out the window silently. At this banquet, he also roughly understood what Long Yuesheng meant, that he was going to let him join the county soldiers, but he didn't actually have this plan. There are too many rules for county soldiers, and the most important thing is that after becoming a county soldier, it is difficult to have time to learn other martial arts. He plans to learn more martial arts, even if it is not real martial arts, because the potential panel can integrate and deduce martial arts, take the essence and discard the dross. The martial arts after integration and deduction will not only be more powerful, but also more suitable for him. Red Tiger Gang, can't delay any longer, have to join the Red Tiger Gang quickly. In addition, more potential points must be prepared. Now is not the time to save potential points. He must strive to push the Red Tiger Fist to perfection in the shortest time. He took out a token from his arms, with the word Su engraved on it. The Lantern Festival was held in the inner city. This was given to him by Xu Yanran because she was afraid that he would not be able to go to the inner city at that time. The Xu family is the largest grain merchant in Heishan City, and it is normal to have some privileges. This is convenient for him. He has to search and visit the antique shops and pawn shops in the inner city. Somewhere outside Heishan City, dozens of torches illuminated the mountains and forests. A young man wearing brocade clothes and holding a folding fan raised his hand to cover his mouth and nose, looking forward with gloomy eyes. After a long time, a man in black, covered in filth, came over and knelt on one knee, holding a token in both hands. "Sir, the token has been found," said the man in black. Young Master Folding Fan took a few steps back. "Can you find the murderer?" That although he had not received any news from the two guys in the past few days, he did not care too much, if it were not for the news from the general pavilion that the token had not been injected with gold and jade for a long time. He really did not know that the two guys were dead. It's difficult, but it is certain that the place of death will not exceed 100 miles. The only cities within 100 miles are Heishan City and Luoshan City. The man in black said. "Go check it out." Young Master Folding Fan said, "Now that more than half a month has passed, there is no need to be too anxious. Even if someone finds out, it will be too late." "Yes. Sir." Cuckoo. There was a sound of flapping wings in the jungle, and a black bird landed on his shoulder like lightning. He looked at the black bird in surprise and took the letter off his feet. Unfolding the paper, there was only one line of words: "My son Lu Yun, the secret has arrived, and there will be changes in the Black Mountain City area. Return quickly." The next morning, Qin Jiang went to the inner city early in the morning, and was allowed to pass directly after showing the token. Entering the North City again, it was more lively today than yesterday. Without staying too long, he went directly to the antique shop he saw yesterday. 2 burly men were guarding the door, and there were already several people selecting antiques inside. After going in and taking a look around, he only gained less than a point of potential points. Seeing this, he directly stated his purpose: "Store, in addition to these on the surface, do you have anything else?" That the clerk standing behind the counter looked at Qin Jiang and didn't care too much. "Sir, if you want to go to the inner room, you must bring at least 50 taels of silver." Qin Jiang looked at himself along the other party's line of sight, and immediately understood. When he went out today, he felt that the black gold auspicious cloud robe was troublesome to wear, so he put on the black cloth clothes before. After rummaging in his pocket for a while, he took out the Su family token and 5 silver notes with a face value of 10 taels. The clerk didn't react when he saw the silver notes. After all, it was only 50 taels, and there were still many people in the inner city who could afford it. However, when he saw the token, he was stunned. Someone from the Su family? As a person in the antique business, almost everyone he came into contact with every day was considered rich. From time to time, an upper-class person from the inner city would come. Naturally, someone had taught him how to identify the big people in the city. although the Xu family's foundation was in the west of the city, it was not that they did not come to the inner city, and this token was the mark that only the upper-level members of the Xu family had. It turned out to be the master of the Xu family. I was really blinded by the ghost and didn't recognize him. Please come in. The clerk walked out quickly from the counter and led Qin Jiang to the inner room. This scene made the rest of the people in the antique business look sideways. The Xu family, even for them, was an absolute behemoth. Walking into the inner room, the specifications were similar to those outside. However, Qin Jiang took a quick look, and even though he didn't know how to distinguish antiques, he could tell that the items inside were much more valuable than those outside. Master Lu, this is the master of the Xu family. The clerk walked over to a middle-aged man who was dozing off at the counter and whispered in his ear, "Bang." The middle-aged man called Master Lu raised his head suddenly and hit the clerk's chin with the back of his head. Hiss. The two sounds of sucking in cold air made Qin Jiang feel his teeth ache. Bang. You idiot. Why are you so close? Master Lu slapped the clerk on the forehead, then looked at Qin Jiang, and quickly stood up and bowed. Sir, I'm sorry, I made you laugh. Qin Jiang waved his hand. It's okay, then let me take a look first. You are welcome. Master Lu waved at the clerk. Go away. You don't learn your lesson. I'll have your mother teach you a lesson tomorrow. After the clerk left, Qin Jiang looked at the many antiques in the inner room, and touched them from time to time. Master Lu followed behind and introduced them from time to time. After a while, a bronze animal pattern mask attracted Qin Jiang's attention, and his fingertips gently touched it. Potential points absorbing point 1.11.20.80.6. Potential points 11.2. His pupils couldn't help shrinking slightly, and this one alone increased his potential points by nearly 5 points. What is this? He suppressed his excitement and asked. Master Lu took a look at the mask. This is a bronze mask with nightmare beast pattern from the ancient Yu kingdom, which has a history of at least 3,000 years. According to records, only the priests of the ancient Yu kingdom are qualified to wear this kind of mask. Ancient Yu kingdom? Qin Jiang frowned slightly. He had never heard of this name. Master Lu saw Qin Jiang frowning and explained, this ancient Yu kingdom was a slave dynasty thousands of years ago. Sacrifices were popular and it was famous for human sacrifice and smelting, but it seemed to disappear overnight, and all the relevant records were gone. Some of the information we know now is also learned from these unearthed antiques. Are there any antiques from the ancient Yu kingdom? Qin Jiang asked. Master Lu shook his head. No, there is only this one. If you want it, 200 taels of silver will do. Qin Jiang retracted his hand after hearing this, and pinched his index and middle fingers unconsciously. Let me take another look. Master Lu nodded with some disappointment. You are welcome. After a moment, Qin Jiang looked through them all, and the total number of potential points reached 11.8. Looking at Master Lu, are there any other items besides these? Master Lu thought for a moment. There are a few more, but the boss said he wants to keep them, so they can't be sold. Tap, tap, tap. The clerk just now walked in, glanced at Qin Jiang, and quickly walked to Master Lu and took out a note. Master Lu opened it and looked at it, and then looked at Qin Jiang in surprise. Sir, the boss has ordered not to do business with the Xu family. We have no choice, please forgive me. Qin Jiang looked at the two of them and nodded slightly. Master Lu breathed a sigh of relief. What he was most afraid of was this troublemaker. He immediately raised his hand slightly. Sir, please. Qin Jiang stepped away, and when he reached the door, he suddenly turned back. Who is your boss? Master Lu was stunned. This person didn't know. Li family in the south of the city. Qin Jiang nodded. Thank you. After leaving the antique shop, he strolled around the south city again, and then went to other districts. After sweeping, it was almost noon. Looking at the panel. Current martial arts, Eternal Life 5 Qigong, first level, 40/250, Iron Arm Fist, third level, 80/400, Earth Dragon Body, first level, 32/200. Potential points, 25.2. Chapter 35. Customer, would you like to buy a candy man? You are listening at novelfull.audio. 25 potential points. Qin Jiang's eyes were filled with irrepressible joy, however, he still suppressed his excitement and did not rush to add points, there were too many people at the moment. According to past experience, the improvement of the iron-armed fist would inevitably be accompanied by changes in the physical body, and it would be a bit eye-catching here. Just as he was about to leave, he suddenly remembered the lanterns, which seemed to be held in the Shusha River basin in the inner city. Thinking of the Shusha River, he remembered the golden scale fish he had eaten that night. The delicious taste was secondary, mainly because the fish seemed to contain a strange power that could increase his internal energy and increase his martial arts experience points. He remembered that the last time he ate the golden scale fish, all martial arts increased his experience points by more than 30 points, and this was when he did not finish the whole fish. Although the effect was worse than the medicinal bath could only be performed once every half a month, even if he had now reached the 3rd level. Moreover, since he had already decided to upgrade the iron-armed fist to the perfect state, he would not need a medicinal bath. Moreover, if spending some silver money could save some potential points, it would still be very cost-effective. With this thought in mind, he walked straight to the location of the Shusha River. Not long after, he came to a small river. Looking at the small river in front of him, it was called a river, but in fact it was just a larger stream, and the widest part was no more than 4 meters. This was because when Black Mountain City was built, the Shusha River in the west of the city was divided into dozens of tributaries at the entrance to the city, which was used as a source of drinking water for the population in the city. These dozens of tributaries were almost all over Black Mountain City, until they reached the east exit of the city and converged into one place again, with a width of more than 30 meters, which was the real Shusha River, one of the sources of the Canglang River. Walking by the river, a fresh grass smell rushed into his nose, making him feel like his pores were dilated. Looking at both banks, there were almost no people fishing. Occasionally, there were a few naughty children using scoop nets to catch fish. People around the river basically used it as daily drinking water. Seeing this, Qin Jiang couldn't help but sigh. People in the outer city were almost unable to eat enough, and many refugees outside the city starved to death. People in the inner city were too lazy to catch the fish right in front of them. Shaking his head, he continued to walk along the river bank, and soon came to a small fish market. "Fellow villager, do you have golden scale fish?" he asked an old man. The old man selling fish raised his head and glanced at him. "Old man, where is the golden scale fish? It is a treasure of the government and is not allowed to be sold on the market. If you really want to eat it, go to the fish market at the West City Gate." "Oh, thank you, old man." After leaving the fish market, he walked straight to the location of the West City Gate, passing by a relatively wide river section on the way, which is the place where the Lantern Festival is held every July 15th. Every year during the Lantern Festival, a fishing competition is held, and the prize is a golden scale fish king. Not long after, Qin Jiang arrived in front of the West City Gate. He looked around and saw a large-scale fish market. He walked in and found the golden scale fish after a while. "Shopkeeper, how much is this golden scale fish?" That he looked at the golden scale fish swimming in the water, like pieces of gold running around. "Warrant, no sale without a warrant." The stall owner of the fish shop was a sturdy man with a round belly, holding a wide-bladed short knife in his hand, lying on a recliner, just took a look at Qin Jiang's dress and spoke with disdain. Qin Jiang was stunned. "Do you need a warrant to buy a fish?" After thinking about it, he tried to take out the token Xu Yanran gave him. The fat stall owner sat up after seeing the token, and stood up directly after seeing the word Xu on the token. "It's the Xu family who wants it, why didn't you say it earlier? The normal price is 5 taels of silver per caddy. If the Xu family wants it, it will be 4 taels. How many do you want?" The stall owner's speech speed became a few points faster. "This is the Xu family. The half of the sky in the west of the city. 2, please," Qin Jiang said. "Okay." After a while, the stall owner tied the fish with a rope and smiled flatteringly. "A total of 4.5 pounds, 16 taels for you." Qin Jiang took the fish and paid the money. When he was about to leave, a golden light suddenly flashed in the corner of his eyes. He looked over and saw that there was a water tank in the stall, which was blocked by the stall owner's recliner. A huge golden scale fish nearly half a meter long was swimming slowly in the water tank. What is that? The stall owner looked over. Oh, you are talking about this. This is the prize of this fishing lantern festival. How much? Qin Jiang asked. The stall owner was embarrassed when he heard this. Sir, please don't embarrass me, this is what the official wants, and I can't sell it to you. Qin Jiang nodded slightly, said nothing more, and left. After passing through several streets, he returned to the northern city. After walking for a while, he looked down at the golden scale fish in his hand. These two golden-scaled fish are bigger than Li Bo's. If nothing unexpected happens, they will at least give him 100 experience points, although the cost-effectiveness is a bit low. This is not the time to consider this. He tightened the fishing line and quickened his pace, but when he looked up, he suddenly felt the surroundings suddenly quiet. He looked up and stood there in a daze, a chill rising along the coccyx to the back of his head. The bustling Taipei city just now was now empty. Not only were there no people, but even the stalls were gone. The huge Taipei city looked very empty, with only a layer of light mist. Weird. Customer, do you want to buy a candy man? A shrill voice suddenly sounded behind his ear, his eyes shone, and he suddenly turned back and punched. Accompanied by the sound of wood breaking, a wooden cart that was as long as a person and sold candy figures was smashed by him. The moment it was smashed, the woman in gray cloth who was standing behind the cart also disappeared, leaving only rotten wood on the ground. Customer, do you want to buy candy figures? The shrill voice sounded behind his ears again, his pupils shrank slightly, and he slowly turned his head. The cart that was just broken appeared intact on the side of the road. The woman in gray cloth was wearing a white apron, squinting her eyes, with a gentle smile on her lips. Qin Jiang glanced down, and the rotten wood that had just broken had disappeared. Without hesitation, he directly passed the cart and walked quickly forward, but at this moment, he suddenly realized that the inner city north gate that could be seen at the end of the north city just now has now turned into a road with no end in sight. Even the houses and buildings on both sides spread out, and the farther away they were, the more unreal they felt. Customer, would you like to buy a candy man? A familiar voice sounded in front of him. He looked forward and saw the cart on the side of the road. Looking back, he saw that the road was empty and the cart that was supposed to be behind him had disappeared. He took a deep breath and walked to the cart. Woo! The rapidly swinging arm broke through the air and made a humming sound. Qin Jiang's palm was wide, and he grabbed the woman's head and slammed it to the ground. Ka! The woman's body smashed the cart directly and was smashed to the ground. Puff! After the sound of a balloon leaking, the woman's body shrank quickly, and then turned into a ball of white mist and dissipated. Customer, would you like to buy a candy man? A shrill voice sounded, and Qin Jiang's eyes were cold. He slowly stood up and walked to the cart that had just appeared. Give me the cheapest one. Chapter 36, Iron Arm Fist completed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After the words fell, the woman in the cart tilted her head slightly, opened her eyes, revealing a pair of empty eyes, and the smile on the corners of her mouth gradually widened and split to below her ears. It was indeed weird. Qin Jiang opened his eyes slightly and smiled. Finally there was a change. Just as he was about to take action, he suddenly felt his trouser legs being pulled. Looking at his feet, a 4 or 5-year-old child was like a porcelain doll, with eyes as clear as gems. Brother, eat the candy man. She pulled her trouser legs with her right hand and raised her left hand with hope in her eyes. Qin Jiang's eyes changed slightly, and he gently stroked the girl's head. Wait a minute, brother will buy it for you. He raised his head and looked behind the cart, but there was no one. He frowned and picked up a candy man directly from the cart, looking like a monkey holding a stick. Looking down, the girl looked at the candy man in his hand and laughed, splitting directly behind her ears, revealing the fangs inside. A pair of eyes also turned into a whirlpool-like hollow. Brother, eat. Bang. Before she could finish, a huge fist smashed directly into her mouth. Qin Jiang raised his foot and kicked her away, then strode forward and stomped on her head. With a piercing scream, a man sat on the ground and used his hands and feet to retreat in panic. Who are you? What do you want to do? He asked loudly in fear. He was just walking on the road, and this guy suddenly raised his foot and kicked him. If he was not far away, he would have been kicked. Qin Jiang was slightly startled and looked around. The crowd seemed a little crowded. Everyone was attracted by the man's scream and looked at himself, out. He looked at the man opposite and asked hurriedly, "What was I doing just now?" The man stood up and picked up the scattered items. "How do I know what you are doing? I tell you, you kicked me, you have to go." Speaking of this, his eyes fell on the golden scale fish, stayed for a moment, and his expression suddenly became a little nervous. "Ordinary people can't eat this thing, even if they have money, they can't buy it." Realizing that Qin Jiang was not easy to mess with, he immediately gave up the idea of extorting money, and turned away without saying anything more. The owner left, and the people around him no longer looked at this side, and Qin Jiang had no intention of staying any longer. After walking a few steps, he suddenly looked at his right hand, and a candy man appeared in his hand without knowing when. Potential points are being absorbed. 0.10.20.1. Not long after, the potential points were absorbed, 1.1 potential points, and the total potential points reached 26.3. Seeing this, he threw the candy man down without hesitation, crushed it into pieces and left directly. After leaving the inner city and returning to Shanmenlu, he asked the servant to stew the 2 golden scale fish. Sitting quietly in the fenced yard, he looked at the 4 iron stakes in the middle of the yard that formed a square. The inner city was really not peaceful, and strange things began to appear in the downtown area. Creak. Not long after, the servant pushed open the wooden door and walked into the yard with a plate. "Master Qin, your golden scale fish is ready." The servant put down the plate carefully. "This is a golden scale fish. He can't afford to pay for it if it is knocked over." He secretly glanced at Qin Jiang with a bit of awe in his eyes. "I really don't know what this Master Qin is. He ate 2 golden scale fish at once. You know, even in Shanmenlu, there are only 3 golden scale fish a month." "Well, put it here," Qin Jiang said. "Hey, I'll collect the plates later." After the servant left, Qin Jiang looked at the 2 golden scale fish in front of him, and the fragrance was fragrant. Without using chopsticks, he directly picked up a plate and ate it in 3 bites, including the meat and bones. "Put down the plate, and do the same with the other one." After eating the golden scale fish, Qin Jiang mobilized the internal energy in his body to gather in his stomach and intestines. In just a moment, he had digested the 2 fishes. After becoming a real warrior, his physical fitness became more and more abnormal. If it were his previous life, he would probably be regarded as a monster. Looking at the panel. Current martial arts, Eternal Life 5 Qigong, 1st level, 76 out of 250, Iron Arm Fist, 3rd level, 140/400, Earth Dragon Body, 1st level, 60/200. Potential points, 26.3. The total experience points added by the 3 martial arts exceeded 100, which is not bad. If there is a chance, you can secretly catch a few. When you have money in the future, you can consider including golden scale fish in your daily food. At the same time, he was also curious about how there could be such a fish as golden scale fish in the Shirsha River. "I heard that the source of the golden scale fish is in a small mountain about 20 miles outside the Black Mountain City, which is also the source of the Stone Lion River. If I have time, I will go and have a look." Looking at the panel, a thought came to my mind. Potential, add points, Iron Arm Fist. Iron Arm Fist, 3rd level, 140/400, experience value plus 260. Iron Arm Fist, perfect. Potential points, 23.7. It is detected that the Iron Arm Fist has reached the limit of martial arts. Do you want to deduce it? After a burst of bone noises, Qin Jiang only felt that the muscles in his body became tighter. Looking at his arms, the originally light silver-gray color had disappeared, becoming no different from ordinary skin, but at this moment, the muscle lines are very obvious, and much thicker than before. After closing the prompt, he did not rush to deduce, because he has already planned to join the Red Tiger Gang. He wants to get the Red Tiger Fist manual before deciding whether to deduce the Iron Arm Fist or learn the Red Tiger Fist. The experience points required to deduce the Iron Arm Fist are 400, which is equivalent to 4 potential points. It doesn't seem much, But he still has to prepare for the improvement after the deduction, so he can't squander it for the time being. Now the weirdness has even begun to make trouble, and he doesn't want to wait anymore. He has to join the Red Tiger gang as soon as possible. Although the danger of the weirdness is not a big deal in Uncle Wang's opinion, once such a thing happens to a person, it is a big deal. Fortunately, no accidents happen today, but who can guarantee that he will be so lucky next time? He has decided that if the experience points required to get started with the Red Tiger Fist exceed 400, it means that the Red Tiger Fist is stronger than the Jinwu after the deduction of the Iron Arm Fist. Then he will use the potential points to push the Red Tiger Fist directly to the current limit of improvement. After that, he will get a high position in the Red Tiger gang, and use the power of the Red Tiger gang to plunder potential points and add some other martial arts. After all, only when you are strong can you survive. After being awakened by Uncle Wang, he is no longer afraid of the future. What he has to do is to become stronger and live well in this chaotic world. No one can stop him. He stood up, his tall body was taller than before, walked to the center of the iron pile, and practiced the iron leg step in the iron arm fist. Every time he hit the iron pile, a sound similar to the collision of gold and iron was made. After the perfection of the iron arm fist, his body can almost be said to be comparable to real gold and iron. Feeling the power of his body, the corners of his mouth curled up slightly, and this feeling of mastering power made him feel very comfortable. Near the evening, Qin Jiang came to Wang Minglang's yard, greeted Li Lang and his brother, and pushed the door directly into the main house. Wang Minglang sat on a chair smoking a big pipe, and seemed to be in a daze. Knock, knock. Qin Jiang knocked on the door, and Wang Minglang came back to his senses. When he saw Qin Jiang, a trace of panic flashed across his eyes. "Uncle Wang, I want to join the Red Tiger gang." Qin Jiang spoke directly. Wang Minglang was stunned when he heard this, and then nodded. "Ah, yes, you have now practiced the Iron Arm Fist to the 3rd level, and you can definitely join the Red Tiger gang." After saying that, he took a puff of his big pipe and became a little sluggish again. Qin Jiang walked closer and waved his hand in front of Wang Minglang with some concern. "Uncle Wang, what's wrong with you?" Wang Minglang's eyes moved slightly, and he sat up straight immediately, and then became hunched again. He hesitated for a long time and slowly exhaled a puff of smoke. "Your sister is missing." Chapter 37 Joining the Red Tiger Gang, Ansheng Casino. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Qin Jiang's eyes moved slightly when he heard this, tears welled up in the corners of his eyes, and an inexplicable sadness surged into his heart, but in fact, he was very calm at the moment. He knew that this sadness did not come from him, but was the instinctive reaction of this body. "What's the matter?" he asked. Wang Minglang raised his head and looked at Qin Jiang. Although his tears could not stop flowing, he still struggled to maintain his composure. "Better than this old man," he sighed. "I encountered a strange thing when I was on a mission, and I didn't come back. I disappeared." Qin Jiang nodded when he heard this. "It's okay if I didn't come back. Missing doesn't mean I'm dead." Wang Minglang also nodded subconsciously. Yes, no news is good news, but people who disappeared after encountering strange things have a very slim chance of coming back, which is basically a death sentence. He never thought that one day he would send off a young person. He had high hopes for Qin Hong, and she should have gone further. When he thought of this, he lowered his eyes slightly. His hair seemed to be a little whiter, and the old age on his body seemed to have become real. After a moment, he raised his head and looked at Qin Jiang. "Do you want to join the Red Tiger gang?" Qin Jiang nodded. "Yes, I don't want to wait any longer. The city is getting more and more dangerous. I want to get the Red Tiger Fist manual as soon as possible." Wang Minglang looked at him with complicated eyes, and kept smoking his big pipe, until a layer of light smoke was lingering in the room. He slowly said, "Joining the Red Tiger gang may kill you." Qin Jiang sat on the chair, picked up the wine bowl and took a sip. Wang Minglang raised his hand slightly, a little stunned. "Hey, that's what I gave to your sister." "Forget it, you drink it." Qin Jiang was stunned, and then drank the wine in one gulp, and immediately a burning sensation flowed down his throat into his stomach. "Uncle Wang, I know I might die, but if I don't join the Red Tiger gang, will I not die?" He looked at Wang Minglang sincerely. "Uncle Wang, in this chaotic world, only those who hold power can survive. Blindly escaping is nothing but a cowardly act. tantamount to drinking poison to quench thirst. It will only lead to self-destruction. Wang Minglang's body shook, and his eyes looked at Qin Jiang with trembling eyes. After the shock, he was happy, he laughed loudly, and tears flashed in his eyes. Ha 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 ha. Yes. You are right. I didn't expect that the old man lived for almost 100 years, but he was confused. He grabbed Qin Jiang's wrist. Let's go. Jianger, go to the Red Tiger gang. After leaving the yard, the two went straight to the north gate of the inner city. When passing the gate, Wang Minglang showed a red token, and the county soldiers on guard let him go without even asking. Qin Jiang took the opportunity to observe that one side of the red token was engraved with the word Wang, and the other side was a relief of a tiger coming down the mountain. Entering the inner city, the north city was not closed yet, and there were still many people wandering around. The inner city had no curfew at the moment, and even the county magistrate himself was encouraging the night market. Without going in, the two bypassed the north city and headed towards Chongrenfang, one of the 16 wards. Not long after crossing two small bridges and several streets, they stopped in front of a gambling house. Qin Jiang looked over and saw that there were many doors in and out of the gambling house. Each door was blocked by two pieces of gray cloth, with An written on the left and Sheng written on the right. Together, it was the name of this gambling house, Ansheng Gambling House, which was also the largest gambling house in Heishan City. Outside the dozen doors of the gambling house, each door was guarded by two gang disciples to prevent those who broke the rules from escaping. Look, this is us. This is an industry of the Red Tiger gang. The two words Ansheng are taken from the names of the county magistrate Song Xiaoan and the county lieutenant Long Yuesheng. Anyone with eyes would not dare to make trouble here. Wang Minglang said. The two men lifted the door curtain and walked in. A smell of cigarettes and a sweet smell of alcohol hit them in the face. Although there were oil lamps on the pillars everywhere, the gambling house still looked a little dim and chaotic. All kinds of people walked back and forth. Some people in ragged linen clothes were no better than beggars, and there were also young men in gorgeous clothes hugging girls, holding silver money in their hands and placing bets from time to time. From time to time, there were bursts of screams, some excited and some annoyed. Qin Jiang looked at one of the gambling tables with a large number of people. The gamblers had red eyes, hideous faces, and shouted loudly, looking completely crazy. There were many people lying, sitting, and even squatting on the seats for rest in the corner, but almost everyone looked ashen, which was in sharp contrast to the crazy gamblers on the gambling table. After a glance, he stopped watching. He had no interest in gambling. Wang Minglang shook his head. He had seen too many people addicted to gambling, and many of them lost their lives and their families because of this. Or it can be said that as long as you keep gambling, you will lose everything sooner or later. Let's go inside. He said. The two of them walked through the gambling table area and came to a slightly larger open area behind the casino. A huge cabinet was filled with wine and drinks. Outside the edge of the cabinet was a cloth curtain embroidered with a red tiger descending from the mountain. More than 20 gang members wearing black cloth gathered in front of the cabinet. Some were drinking, some were smoking opium, and a few were playing mahjong at a table. One of them was lying on a recliner, and he looked like the boss of the gang. Hey! What are you doing? At the mahjong table, a gang member came over, with a ferocious face, slightly raised his head, and a kind of condescending arrogance. Looking at the two people opposite, he couldn't help but feel strange. Ansheng Casino is not a good place. What is an old man who is about to die bringing a guy who is obviously a virgin here for? Although this virgin looks tall and is a martial artist, he can tell the temperament at a glance. His voice was not small, and immediately attracted the attention of the gang members behind him. Old son, stop talking nonsense, hurry up and come back to play cards. A person at the Pai Gao table shouted over here. The little leader who was lying on the recliner was also woken up. He raised his head, frowned and looked at Qin Jiang and the others, and his eyes widened immediately. Old son waved his hand without turning his head, and looked at Wang Minglang. Did you hear it? Is there something wrong? If not, get out of here. Don't get in the way here. Bang. As soon as he finished speaking, he was slapped on the back of his head from behind, and fell directly to the ground. Go away. You don't even recognize the fourth master. After saying that, the little leader smiled apologetically, looking a little cautious. Fourth master, why are you here? Who is this young man? That he looked at Qin Jiang standing beside him. Don't call me the fourth master, I'm not one anymore. Who is in charge of the gambling house now? Wang Minglang asked. The little leader nodded slightly. Hey, fourth master, it's Elder Nye. The position of the head of our fourth hall is vacant, and Elder Nye will take charge. Speaking of this, his face was a little ugly. Old guy Nye Dongsheng was too demanding for money. In the past, the head of the hall took 30%, but old guy Nye Dongsheng wanted 50% as soon as he came, and he wanted to increase it to 60% these days. He is simply greedy. Wang Minglang also frowned slightly when he heard this. Why is it this guy? After thinking for a while, he pulled Qin Jiang up and was about to leave. This is a bad idea, let's go somewhere else. But before he took 2 steps out, the door curtain outside the edge of the cabinet behind him was suddenly lifted. Old Wang. Are you in such a hurry to leave? You don't want to accompany me for a drink? Aren't you too disrespectful to me, old Nye? Chapter 38 Red Tiger Fist Manual. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As the voice came, a majestic figure walked out from the inner room, walking like a dragon and a tiger. An invisible thought shook, and the little leader of the Red Tiger gang and many disciples covered their heads. Qin Jiang was also a little dizzy. He looked back at the person who came. He felt like he was facing a giant tiger patrolling the mountain. He looked clearly after focusing his eyes. He was wearing a black cloak, and a red tiger descending the mountain was embroidered on the cuff of his left sleeve. He looked extremely powerful. He had a square face, a beard, and thick black hair. He looked like he was in his prime, and there was no sign of old age. He didn't look like a contemporary of Wang Minglang at all. The person who came lightly said He didn't expect that there was someone besides Wang Minglang who could block his fist pressure. Wang Minglang let go of Qin Jiang's hand and looked back at the person who came. Old Nye, long time no see. His voice was calm, but Qin Jiang could hear a hint of anger in Wang Minglang's voice. Yeah, long time no see. Why don't you sit down for a while? I guess you joined the Red Tiger gang for this kid. Nye Dongsheng looked at Qin Jiang, his eyes narrowed slightly, with a bit of disdain. Your kung fu is pretty good, you can actually block my fist pressure. Wang Minglang's eyes were slightly cold. Then you don't have to worry about it. Give me a straight answer. TSK, a straight answer. Nye Dongsheng laughed when he heard it, and laughed exaggeratedly, holding his stomach. Okay. You Wang Minglang came in person, how could I not give you this face? Speaking of this, he changed the subject and tilted his head slightly. But, your disciple, I heard that you have practiced the iron-armed fist to the 3rd level, right? Doesn't that mean you can be a deacon? TSK. He shook his head slightly. I can't just casually decide the position of deacon. Besides, without merit, you can't convince the public, right? How about the big boss? How about it? Wang Minglang was silent for a moment. The big boss is fine. Nye Dongsheng curled his lips with an exaggerated expression of surprise. The big boss is fine. TSK. To be honest, the position of the big boss is not so easy to get. Even if there is a recommendation from the former hall master, you have to report to the headquarters. As he said, he looked at Qin Jiang with a bit of joking. How about this, kid, you come with me. I guarantee you the position of deacon, how about it? Wang Minglang's eyes widened slightly when he heard the words. With a bit of nervousness, he glanced at Qin Jiang inconspicuously. Qin Jiang scratched his ears and glanced at Nye Dongsheng. Uncle Wang, let's go. He can't make the decision anyway, so let's just go to the headquarters. Wang Minglang raised his eyebrows and glanced at Nye Dongsheng. Okay, then I won't bother Elder Nye. After that, he took Qin Jiang away. Nye Dongsheng looked at the 2 people who left. A cold light appeared in his eyes, and his sight fell on the little boss in the casino. What did you call him just now? Fourth master. The little boss stood up straight, cold sweat broke out, his throat rolled uncontrollably, and he spoke with a trembling voice. Chang, Zhang, elder. I. He was trying very hard to control his body, but facing the fist of a master of the divine will realm at such a close distance still made him tremble uncontrollably. Humph. I know you still remember his kindness, but you'd better figure out who you are working for. Nye Dongxing flicked his sleeves and turned and left. Outside the gambling house, Qin Jiang looked back, his eyes were deep and cold. Wang Minglang looked at Qin Jiang with a gentle look. Let's go, Jianger, after reporting to the headquarters this time, we should be able to get the Red Tiger Fist manual. Let's go quickly, so as not to be tripped up by that Nye. After saying that, he stopped a carriage on the road. At first, the carriage owner was reluctant, but after Wang Minglang showed the Red Tiger order, he got off the carriage consciously and took the initiative to leave the coachman to the two of them. In the carriage, Qin Jiang lifted the curtain and looked, then turned to look at Wang Minglang. Uncle Wang, who is that Nye Dongxing? Wang Minglang sighed. When I competed with him for the position of elder in the gang, I won a move, but this guy didn't follow the rules and dared to sneak attack me. My heart meridian was injured because of this, and it was difficult for me to make any progress in martial arts. Although he was also punished, he was not crippled after all. I was discouraged and went to the north of the city to teach martial arts. So that's it. Qin Jiang nodded slightly. Wang Minglang raised his hand slightly. You don't have to avenge me, let alone blame the gang leader. When we competed for resources with the Chiuya gang in Luoshan City, it was the time to use people, and he had no choice. Over the years, he has compensated me a lot, enough to make up for it. Over the years, his heart meridian was injured, and the medicine for warming was always provided by the gang leader. If not, he should have died a few years ago. In fact, to put it nicely, he has made countless contributions to the Red Tiger gang and has made great contributions, but in fact, after he was disabled, he was just a warrior in the divine will realm with damaged heart meridians. It was not worth wasting so many resources. I understand. Qin Jiang said. Wang Minglang nodded and continued, I will tell you about the structure of the gang, so as not to offend people because of some common sense. The Red Tiger gang is composed of the gang leader Lu Xuanwu, the 3 elders, and the 6 hall masters. Each hall master has 2 deacons, each deacon has 4 big bosses, and each big boss has 2 small bosses. As for the small bosses, each can manage more than 10 to 50 gang members. The total number of the Red Tiger gang has now exceeded 3,000. He paused for a moment, then continued, in addition to these, there is another position, which is the first seat of the hall master. This is the position of the next successor to the gang leader, and its status is much higher than that of the elders. However, the first seat has been vacant for a long time. Qin Jiang nodded slightly. It was not until this moment that he realized how strong the Red Tiger gang was. The total population of Black Mountain City would not exceed 100,000, but there were more than 3,000 Red Tiger gang members, accounting for almost 1/30 of the population. It's better not to call it Black Mountain City, but Red Tiger City. The carriage moved forward and soon arrived in front of a huge mansion. The gate was open and painted with red paint. The copper base with the door knocker was 2 huge copper tiger heads. The walls on both sides of the door extended to an unknown distance. In terms of grandeur, it was even higher than the county lieutenant's mansion. The 3 characters Red Tiger Gang were written in red paint on the black plaque. This is the headquarters of the Red Tiger Gang, located in Kamingfang, one of the 16 wards, and occupies almost 1/10 of the land of Kamingfang. At this time, a white-haired old man stood outside the mansion, wearing gray and white cloth, less than 1.7 meters tall, looking like an ordinary old man. Wang Minglang lifted the curtain, and after seeing the person standing clearly, he got off the carriage and walked quickly to the old man. Boss. Why are you here? The old man laughed. Old Wang, you are here. I am in Black Mountain City, so I still have some ears and eyes. As he said that, he raised his hand and patted Wang Minglang's shoulder, looking at Qin Jiang who got off the carriage. Is this Xiaohong's younger brother? Wang Minglang's eyes were a little dim when he heard it. Yes, his name is Qin Jiang. He waved to Qin Jiang. Jianger, this is Boss Lu, come and meet him. Qin Jiang walked up and bowed slightly. Junior Qin Jiang, meet Boss Lu. Lu Xuanwu smiled, glanced at Qin Jiang, and after a moment he said with some surprise, not bad, the foundation is very solid, and it seems that he has also learned other martial arts. Qin Jiang raised his eyebrows, not expecting this man's eyesight to be so good. I have practiced health-preserving exercises before. He said. Lu Xuanwu nodded, yes. Let's go in and talk. Led by Lu Xuanwu, the three walked into the Red Tiger Gang headquarters. As soon as they entered the headquarters, a fresh bamboo fragrance hit them. Qin Jiang looked forward and saw a large red bamboo forest with leaves like fire. He recognized that this was red leaf bamboo, a kind of medicinal material that was not rare, but he had never thought that someone could actually grow such a large area. This bamboo forest alone is worth 10,000 taels of silver. Continuing forward, the three came to a side room. After walking in, Qin Jiang noticed that there was a wooden tray on the table in the living room. In the wooden tray was a black robe and a thin book. The book had the three words Red Tiger Fist written on it. Chapter 39, Strange Tide. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sit down, we are all family. Lu Xuanwu waved his hand. After the two sat down, Wang Minglang looked at the wooden plate on the table. Boss, what is this? That he recognized the black robe as the uniform of the big boss in the gang. Lu Xuanwu nodded. The position of deacon is still a little inappropriate. It's not too late to raise it after Xiao Jiang has accumulated some experience in the position of big boss. Of course, this Red Tiger Fist manual is indispensable. What do you think? Wang Minglang glanced at Qin Jiang, who nodded slightly and had no opinion. In his opinion, positions are just empty names. How would a Jianghu gang really care about any contribution? When he has mastered the Red Tiger Fist, let alone the position of deacon, even the position of hall master can still be obtained by strength. Seeing this, Wang Minglang said nothing more. Qin Jiang has just arrived and has no achievements yet. It is better to adapt to the position of big boss first. Moreover, the gang leader was giving face. According to the gang rules, one needs to become a deacon before having the opportunity to pass down the Red Tiger Fist. Just do as the gang leader says. He said. Lu Xuanwu smiled. Okay, I have arranged it. I will let Xiao Jiang go to the 6th hall. Now the position of the head of the 6th hall is vacant, and Elder Chen will take charge temporarily. There is only one deacon below. If Xiao Jiang goes there, although he is the big boss in name, the power he actually controls is equivalent to that of a deacon, but as the gang leader, I always have to pay attention to the legitimate reason. Hearing this, Wang Minglang's eyes lit up slightly. He knew that the gang leader still remembered the old friendship. Old Wang, come back to help me. I am really old. If you come back, you will be the 4th elder of my Red Tiger gang, and the 4th hall will still be handed over to you. Lu Xuanwu said. Wang Minglang was shocked when he heard this, and he raised his head suddenly and looked directly at Lu Xuanwu. After a moment, he sighed, his eyes dimmed. Forget it. My current strength can only maintain the level of the 1st level of the Red Tiger Fist. With such strength, what qualifications do I have to sit in the position of elder? That the elders of the Red Tiger gang have always been those who have practiced the 3rd level of the Red Tiger Fist. If it was back then, he would naturally take the lead, but now, his strength is far less than before. How can he still be qualified? A trace of guilt appeared in Lu Xuanwu's eyes. I said you are qualified, then you are qualified. Besides, this position belongs to you. After so many years, are you still blaming me? Back then, Wang Minglang and Nie Dongxing competed for the position of elder, but Nie Dongxing used a shady trick to plot against him, and he never recovered from it. At that time, the Red Tiger gang was at war with the Chiuya gang in Luoshan City. He originally planned to deal with Nie Dongxing after the battle, but who would have thought that this guy would actually make great achievements in the battle with the Chiuya gang, completely consolidating his position as an elder, leaving him no reason to target him. Boss, I didn't mean that. I just really think I don't have the qualifications, let alone the ability. Boss, you said you're old, but you forgot that I'm actually old, too. Wang Minglang looked at Lu Xuanwu, his eyes no longer as clear as they were back then. Lu Xuanwu was startled when he heard that, and then lowered his head slightly. Yes, I forgot. Now, it's not the same as it was back then. He looked at Wang Minglang, and the guilt in his eyes was even stronger. Junior brother, it's my fault. Wang Minglang opened his eyes slightly and became calm again. Admittedly, he had long lost his resentment, but it was still difficult to say it out loud. Qin Jiang on the side was a little surprised. He didn't expect that Uncle Wang and Boss Lu were actually brothers. Lu Xuanwu took a deep breath, took out a whistle from his arms and blew it. The crisp whistle sound was extremely penetrating, and it seemed to have a specific frequency. Shortly after the whistle stopped, a middle-aged man in a black cloak walked in. The left sleeve of his hand was embroidered with the same red tiger as Nia Dongsheng. After the man walked in, he looked at Wang Minglang with a smile. "Old Wang, long time no see." Wang Minglang looked up at him and laughed. "Old Chen, you are still at the third level after all these years." Chen Feng's mouth shrank when he heard it. "You old man, you still talk so harshly." "Ha ha ha ha. Just kidding. It's rare to see you." Wang Minglang laughed. "Okay, you old thing, have you really settled down in the north of the city? You didn't even come to me for a drink." Chen Feng said unhappily. He sat down and looked at Qin Jiang. "Wow. You can actually practice iron arm fist to this level. Awesome." Qin Jiang was about to be modest, but Wang Minglang on the side said directly, "Stop. Can you tell how well iron arm fist is practiced with just your eyes?" "How come I don't know?" Chen Feng raised his head slightly, and then put it down helplessly. "You old thing, I praised you, and you are not happy." As he said, he patted Qin Jiang's shoulder. "Xiao Jiang, don't look at this old thing as reserved. In fact, when he was young, he was very playful. I tell you. Shut up. You bastard." Wang Minglang stood up and pointed the big pipe in his hand at Chen Feng. The two stared at each other. Chen Feng had a smile on his face, and Wang Minglang's face was livid. "Ahem." Lu Xuanwu coughed twice. "Junior brother, elder Chen, why bother talking about the past?" He looked at Qin Jiang. "Xiao Jiang, you should follow elder Chen from now on." Qin Jiang nodded. "Okay. Okay, take the uniform and red tiger fist of the big boss. The 6th hall is responsible for the Xiaoshenfang and Andingfang. I'll have someone clean up a yard these days. In a few days, let's say 3 days. After 3 days, you will go to Elder Chen's place to work." Lu Xuanwu said. After saying that, he looked at Chen Feng and said, "Elder Chen, Xiao Jiang is leaving it to you. He has just joined the gang and is not familiar with it yet. I need you to take care of him." Chen Feng glanced at Wang Minglang. Wang Minglang curled his lips, put back his smoking gun and sat down. Chen Feng smiled with satisfaction. "What did the gang leader say?" "I think Xiao Jiang is just like my eldest nephew." Lu Xuanwu nodded slightly. "Okay, now that the arrangements have been made. Elder Chen, please take Xiao Jiang to visualize the red tiger leaping stream. Junior brother and I still have something to say." Chen Feng nodded. "Xiao Jiang, take the boxing manual and come with me." After the two left, without waiting for Wang Minglang to ask anything, Lu Xuanwu's face turned red. He took out a handkerchief and coughed twice, coughing up a mouthful of black blood. Wang Minglang was shocked. "Senior brother. What's wrong with you?" Lu Xuanwu waved his hand. "Don't be nervous, I was just injured by something strange. I have reached the peak of the 4th level of Red Tiger Fist. It's just a little bit of strange power. It can be eliminated after a month of rest." "Weird? What's going on? There's something so weird happening near Black Mountain City?" Wang Minglang asked in shock. His senior brother Lu Xuanwu's strength has reached the realm of transformation, and he can be called a master. He is the well-deserved #1 expert in Black Mountain City. It's not that there are no weird things that can hurt Lu Xuanwu, but weird things of that level shouldn't appear in this small Black Mountain City. They are refugees. A lot of refugees have died recently. Although they have been dealt with urgently, they are still not completely prevented and treated. Lu Xuanwu said. Originally, the refugees in the outer city should have been dealt with by the Red Tiger Gang. However, recently, fog has appeared frequently in the Dahe Mountains, and people had to go out to clear them out. Unexpectedly, there were many strange things in Dahishan, and even the hall leaders died several times. Later, with the help of Lieutenant Long County, the situation was temporarily stabilized. Is it serious? Wang Minglang asked. Lu Xuanwu was silent for a moment and nodded slightly. The Heishan is under control for the time being, but strange things in Heishan City have begun to appear frequently, although it hasn't caused much impact yet. This is not a good sign. After discussing with Lieutenant Longxian, I agreed that within 3 months, there might be a strange wave. Chapter 40 Add Points, Red Tiger Fist. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Weird Tide. Wang Minglang was a little nervous. The so-called tide of weirdness actually refers to a large number of weirdness appearing in a short period of time. This is actually not a big problem. What is really troublesome is that if the tide of weirdness cannot be eliminated quickly, a strange realm phenomenon will form. The strange mist in the strange realm has been gathering for a long time, and it will slowly breed more powerful strange things. And now the weirdness can already injure Lu Xuanwu, so how strong will the weirdness spawned by the weird realm be? In the Martial Pavilion, the headquarters of the Red Tiger Gang, Chen Feng walked in front and pushed the door directly in. Qin Jiang glanced at the 3-story attic and followed it inside. The space inside the attic is not large, there is only a small counter with a booklet on it. There was only a weak flame from an oil lamp on the counter, barely illuminating part of the area. Old Zhang, don't sleep. Report and look at the picture of the red tiger leaping over the stream. With that said, Chen Feng walked aside and lit the brazier on the pillar for lighting. The brazier burned, and the brazier upstairs was also lit. The fire appeared and illuminated the interior of the attic. Only then did Qin Jiang realize that there was someone sleeping on the bed in the corner. When he came in just now, he didn't notice it at all. I know, let's go up, it's not a big deal. As he spoke, Lao Zhang turned over and faced inward, waving his hand casually. Chen Feng shook his head helplessly, walked to the counter, picked up the booklet and started writing. Come on, let's go up. Going up the stairs to the second floor, there are only 2 bookcases, one on the left and one on the right. Chen Feng pointed to the bookcase on the left. On the left are some low-level martial arts and ordinary true martial arts in the gang. There are about a dozen of them. However, some of the ordinary true martial arts are just fragments. After speaking, he pointed to the right again. These are the 4 high-level true martial arts collected by the gang. Except for the Red Tiger Fist, they are all fragments. Qin Jiang nodded slightly. In Black Mountain City, high-level true martial arts were the most popular martial arts among all the major forces. It was already good to get some fragments of them. However, he has a potential panel, so there is no need to worry about whether it is a fragment or not. It can be said that this place is a huge martial arts warehouse for him. You can learn from these martial arts, but you can't put the cart before the horse. Red Tiger Fist is the foundation of your life. Only by practicing Red Tiger Fist can you be qualified to compete for the position of hall leader. Chen Feng warned. He knew that Qin Jiang was as talented as his sister Qin Hong, so he was afraid that Qin Jiang was too ambitious and wanted to practice more martial arts, but ended up not being able to practice any of them well. I understand. Qin Jiang said. Okay, let's go up. Arriving on the 3rd floor, there is an empty platform, less than 20 square meters. Qin Jiang looked around and saw a painting hanging on the wall facing the stairs. Between the mountains and waterfalls, a red tiger leaped down. The moonlight shines in from the window, and the light beam refracted from the dust just falls on the painting, adding a bit of tranquility to the fierce tiger. This is the picture of the red tiger leaping over the stream. To practice the Red Tiger Fist, you must visualize this picture in your mind so that you can have the intention of the tiger evil, and then you can develop the inner energy of the tiger evil. Just visualize it here. After saying that, Chen Feng went downstairs. After he left, Qin Jiang sat cross-legged in front of the picture of the red tiger leaping into the stream, meditating intently. After a moment, his eyes closed slightly and his vision became dark. Roar. Suddenly, it seemed like there was a ferocious beast walking in the darkness. Although he didn't open his eyes, his vision became brighter. It's like being in the mountains, with a red tiger overlooking the mountains and forests on a high cliff and waterfall. Roar. Accompanied by a tiger roar, a terrifying evil aura rose into the sky from the red tiger's body. It jumped off the cliff. After an unknown amount of time, Qin Jiang opened his eyes, and a hint of redness spread from his eyes. The cool night breeze blew through his hair. he stood up and walked to the window, where the bright moonlight was shining. From the position of the moon, he calculated that the visualization lasted for about half a quarter of an hour. Under the moonlight, he slowly took out the Red Tiger Fist book and flipped through it, his eyes unable to restrain his excitement. Red Tiger Fist is divided into 4 levels, with 36 ways of boxing and 108 variations. After you get started with visualization, you can develop the inner chi of the tiger evil. After a moment, he put away the boxing manual and looked at the panel. Current martial arts. 5 Qigong of Immortality, first level, 76/250, Iron Arm Fist, perfect, Earth Dragon Body, first layer, 60/200, Red Tiger Fist, not yet started, 10/500. Potential points, 23.7, 500 experience points are required before getting started, which means that the quality of Red Tiger Fist is higher than that of Iron Arm Fist. In this case, let's improve the Red Tiger Fist first. Steps, and Chen Feng walked up with a smile on his face. Just when he was downstairs, he felt the tiger's evil intention flashing away, and guessed that Qin Jiang had completed the visualization. Congratulations, you can successfully visualize in such a short period of time. You are still better than the gang leader back then. I think it will take less than 3 months for you to learn the Red Tiger Fist. He smiled. Thank you, Elder Chen. Qin Jiang said with a smile. What kind of prize are you getting? I'm telling the truth, practice hard, I'll wait for you to take over the 6th hall. Chen Feng laughed. Hearing this, Qin Jiang lowered his head and looked at his palm, and the complicated palm lines were revealed. 6 halls. The outer city is full of mountains and buildings. After bidding farewell to Wang Mingliang, Qin Jiang came back directly, pushing the door and entering the room. He sat cross-legged on the ground. Potential, add points, Red Tiger Fist. Red Tiger Fist, not yet started, 10 out of 500, experience value plus 500. Red Tiger Fist, not yet started, is upgraded to Red Tiger Fist, first level. Red Tiger Fist, first level, 10/700. Potential points, 18.7. The surging internal energy surged in the body, and in an instant it devoured and transformed the internal energy cultivated by the Iron Arm Fist, transforming the white internal energy of the Iron Arm Fist into a black and red internal energy, heavier, more powerful. The subtle sound of bone vibration came from the body. The bones were being strengthened, and the tiny impurities were squeezed out of the pores, and then they were shaken away by the internal energy that was vibrating around Qin Jiang's body. As his body became stronger, Qin Jiang's face showed a trace of pain, his eyes opened, and wisps of black and red evil spirits like mixed with tiny gravel flew from the corners of his eyes. The tyrannical will surged in his heart, making him want to destroy everything in front of him. Roar! A tiger roared in his mind, and the red tiger leaping the stream appeared in his mind. His consciousness gradually regained clarity, and the tyrannical will was suppressed by him. After a moment, he wiped the sweat from the back of his neck, like cold well water. He took a long breath and felt the changes in his body. He became stronger, especially his arms, although the internal energy of the Iron Arm Fist was swallowed by the internal energy of the Red Tiger Fist. The original foundation of cultivation was still there, and his arms were still his strongest part at the moment. Not only that, he closed his eyes slightly and spread his feet forward and backward. A strange power flowed in his body, and he threw a punch. Roar! The illusory tiger roar sounded, like a tiger king patrolling, with an incomparable domineering meaning. He opened his eyes and looked at the panel. After hesitating for a moment, he continued to add some Red Tiger Fist. Red Tiger Fist, first level, 10/700, experience plus 700. Red Tiger Fist, first level, is upgraded to Red Tiger Fist, second level. Red Tiger Fist, second level, 10/900. Potential points, 11.7.